Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys.
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Hey wife, did you know that Anchor is sponsoring our show?
Really? Don't we use Anchor to distribute our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, and we are on just about every other platform available as well, thanks to them.
Why do we use Anchor as our podcasting service?
Well, they make editing and distributing our show a breeze.
What if one of our listeners wants to start their own podcast?
Then they should head over to anchor.fm or download the app to get started.
Awesome! You guys should go do that right now! Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened on Friday?
We met Queen Sheba, and
we sure did.
She asked some hard questions that we didn't get to actually hear.
Right.
And she may or may not have got along with Solomon.
I'm sure she did.
Right. And, they brought goods with them and shit, and Solomon's full of himself, so.
He sure is full of himself, and he built a lot of throne room things and lots of gold, and
right.
He's rich and whatever.
Yeah, that. So that was 1 Kings chapter 10.
Yep, and today we are moving on to 1 Kings chapter 11.
All right, let's get into this.
Okie dokie.
Hey wife, do you like coffee in the morning?
I sure do, husband. Morning, noon, night. Which reminds me, I need to add that to our grocery list because we're running low.
Wait, before you do that, check out the website ungodlybrew.com where you can purchase a pound of your favorite flavor of coffee.
What if I want more than 1 pound?
Either order a larger amount, or better yet, get 10% off by setting up a subscription for every 2 weeks, or a month, or whatever works for you.
Did you set up something special for our listeners?
You know I did. Exclusive for our listeners, get an additional 10% off subscriptions by entering the code SACRILEGIOUSCOFFEE at checkout.
That's a hellishly good deal.
Ungodly Brew is hellishly good coffee.
Okay, 1 Kings chapter 11.
All right.
Now, King Solomon loved many foreign women.
Bet he did.
Yeah, he did. Besides Pharaoh's daughter, he married women from Moab, Ammon, Edom, Sidon, and from among the Hittites.
Jesus Christ.
He got himself a little harem.
Right?
Bow, wow.
Well, and he was, doing it with some visiting queens and stuff probably too, so,
Mm-hmm. The Lord had clearly instructed the people of Israel, you must not marry them because they will turn your hearts to their gods.
Oh.
Yet, Solomon insisted on loving them anyway.
Went against God's word, huh?
He had to get married.
I guess.
He had to get it on. He had to have women.
I'm actually surprised this made it into the book because so far it's been nothing bad.
Right.
Nothing bad.
Nothing bad.
At all.
But, I mean...
But here we are.
He had to have one flaw. They couldn't make him perfect.
Yeah, you gotta give him something, right?
Right.
Okay.
He had 700 wives.
Holy fucking hell.
Of royal birth.
Jesus Christ.
And...
Oh my God.
300 concubines.
Wait a second. Hold on a second.
So they turned his one sin into a brag.
Jesus Christ.
He had 1,000 women tied to him.
You've got to be fucking kidding me. That's like one woman a day for 3 years without repeating. That's insane. Sorry, I had to do some quick math there in my head.
No, it's true. That is so much sex. I mean, that means that he probably had thousands of children.
I mean, he must have populated the fucking earth, right? Like, Jesus Christ. No wonder we are overpopulated. It's Solomon's fucking fault.
And in fact, they did turn his heart away from the Lord.
Oh,
period.
No.
See?
Oh, no.
See? They turned his one sin into a fucking brag, and also any sin that he does after that is no longer his fault. Is the woman's fault?
It's the women, those 1,000 women's fault.
See?
Yeah.
In Solomon's old age, they turned his heart to worship other gods instead of being completely faithful to the Lord his God, as his father David had been.
Did they get together and like decide, hey, let's get him to focus on this god? Huh?
No, this God.
Wait, no. Okay, we're gonna decide at the next meeting. Okay.
My God.
No.
Yes, my God. Solomon worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and Molech, the detestable god of the Ammonites.
That's like a lot of people consider Molech like the devilish
The one,
almost, right?
yeah.
That's
In
crazy.
this way, Solomon did what was evil in the Lord's sight. He refused to follow the Lord completely as his father David had done.
Huh.
Damn.
This is taking a quick turn. Mm-hmm. Like he's building a temple and like all about the Lord, and then now like just out of nowhere, nope, 1,000 women he's fucking, and he's worshiping the devil basically.
This is awesome. We were waiting for the other shoe to drop. Here it is.
Right? Like, this story is not congruent at all.
No. Somebody else got sick of him and his mom.
Right? Yeah.
Editing. They were like, take your editorials,
shit. This is
shove
boring.
them up your ass.
Right?
On the Mount of Olives, east of Jerusalem, he even built a pagan shrine for Chemosh, the detestable god of Moab.
Oh.
And another for Molech, the detestable god of the Ammonites.
Wow.
Solomon built such shrines for all his foreign wives to use for burning incense and sacrificing to their gods.
Damn.
Wow.
That's a lot of fucking temple things. That
Now, here is what I'm thinking. I don't think he was worshiping any of these gods. I think that he was just like building shrines as here's for this wife and these people, here's for that wife and those people.
Yeah.
I think he probably didn't worship any gods.
He just didn't want to get yelled at by his wives.
Well, I think it was probably
I mean, hell, there's enough to fucking have a rebellion.
I think it was probably all for various business dealings. I mean, he's very rich. He's spreading out to the world.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. He's making all these business deals.
Multicultural, huh?
Yeah. I think that I don't think he was worshiping any god, including the Lord our God. I think he was just...
That just happened to be the big honcho.
He was a populist.
Time. Right, yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
The Lord was very angry with Solomon, for his heart had turned away from the Lord, the God of Israel, who had appeared to him twice. That is true.
Yeah.
He did appear to him twice.
I mean, according to this book, yeah.
Oh, Solomon. He had warned Solomon specifically about worshiping other gods, but Solomon did not listen to the Lord's command.
No.
Well.
Yeah.
How the turns do table. So now the Lord said to him, since you have not kept my covenant and have disobeyed my decrees, I will surely tear the kingdom away from you and give it to one of your servants. But for the sake of your father David, I will not do this while you are still alive. I will take the kingdom away from your son.
Wow.
I'm going to punish the people and your kid.
That makes no goddamn sense.
I'm not going to punish you.
Yeah.
The only punishment you get is knowing what's coming after you're gone.
Right.
Which, honestly, ain't that much of a punishment, if we're being honest.
Right.
I mean, a little bit. Like, I feel bad that the planet that my children and their children will inherit isn't in good shape. You know?
Right.
I feel bad about that, but I have the luxury of knowing that it ain't all my fault.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Whereas, I guess I don't know how much of a punishment that can be.
It depends on how much you believe it, and it doesn't strike me that Solomon really believes anything.
No. And even so, continued God, I will not take away the entire kingdom. I will let him be king of one tribe for the sake of my servant David and for the sake of Jerusalem, my chosen city.
So I'm going to punish you, but not really. He's still going to be in charge, just not as in charge.
I'm going to punish you, but not you. I'm going to punish you, but your son, though. But I'm going to only punish him kind of.
Right.
And I'm only going to punish some of the people, not all of them.
Yeah.
Take that.
Right? That'll show you. To not build temples to the devil.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck you're doing.
Fuck that Molech guy.
Right? Yeah.
Then the Lord raised up Hadad the Edomite, a member of Edom's royal family, to be Solomon's adversary. Oh, here comes the
He's
wars.
gotta go to war now.
Here come the wars. Remember how there was no wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, now there's wars.
Right.
Years before, David had defeated Edom.
Probably
Joab.
slept with his wife or something.
Probably. Yeah. Joab, remember David's army commander, had stayed to bury some of the Israelite soldiers who had died in battle. While there, they killed every male in Edom.
Oh,
that
damn.
would piss some people off, wouldn't it? Joab and the army of Israel had stayed there for 6 months, killing them. But Hadad and a few of his father's royal officials escaped and headed for Egypt. Hadad was just a boy at the time. That was parentheses voice.
Got it, yeah.
They set out from Midian and went to Paran, where others joined them. Then they traveled to Egypt and went to Pharaoh, who gave them a home, food, and some land.
So it just strikes me here that it's not sounding like Solomon is very popular outside of his little
enclave.
Israel area.
Yeah. Pharaoh grew very fond of Hadad and gave him his wife's sister in marriage, the sister of Queen Taphanes.
Okay.
I don't know who Queen Taphanes is.
Nor do I.
Pharaoh's wife, I guess?
Yeah. No,
Sure.
his sister, it said.
The sister of Queen Taphanes. I don't know who Queen Taphanes is.
Okay.
So I'm thinking Queen Taphanes is probably Pharaoh's wife.
Right, yeah.
And then he gave his wife's sister.
Yeah, okay. All right.
She bore him a son named Genubath.
What are those?
Taphanes raised him in Pharaoh's palace among Pharaoh's own sons. When the news reached Hadad in Egypt that David and his commander Joab were both dead, he said to Pharaoh, "Let me return to my own country." "Why?" Pharaoh asked him. "What do you lack here that makes you want to go home?" "Nothing," he replied. "But even so, please let me return home." God also raised up Rezon, son of Eliada, I don't know,
Sure.
as Solomon's adversary. Rezon had fled from his master, King Hadadezer of Zobah, and had become the leader of a gang of rebels.
Oh, no.
Not a gang of rebels.
Right.
I want that
It's
on
always
a
trouble.
shirt. Gang of rebels.
You want everything on a fucking shirt.
Fuck yeah, I do. I need all the shirts. After David conquered Hadadezer, Rezon and his men fled to Damascus, where he became king. You know what? I'm so sorry, but this is too many names of old people. And I already am like, what?
Right.
Rezon was Israel's bitter adversary for the rest of Solomon's reign.
Oh, no.
And he made trouble, just as Hadad did.
Yeah.
Rezon hated Israel intensely and continued to reign in Aram.
Okay.
Another rebel leader was Jeroboam. I don't know. Son of Naboth. Naboth.
Yeah.
Right? One of Solomon's own officials. He came from the town of Zeradah in Ephraim, and his mother was Zeruiah, a widow. These are too many people. I'm not keeping
a lot of
up.
people.
I'm not keeping up with
But
any
basically,
of
there's
this.
people fighting.
There's people ticked off at Solomon.
now.
Yeah. I'm just letting you know that when these names keep coming up, I'm not going to remember any of them.
Right.
This is the story behind his rebellion. Who
Okay.
his? His Jeroboam. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Solomon was rebuilding the supporting terraces and repairing. Wait, what? Okay, let me try that again.
Yeah.
Because I'm so sorry. I'm just like, there's too many names and I'm a little bit lost. So
Okay.
the words are floating in my eyes.
Got it.
Solomon was rebuilding the supporting terraces and repairing the walls of the city of his father, David.
Okay.
Jeroboam was a very capable young man, and when Solomon saw how industrious he was, he put him in charge of the labor force from the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, the descendants of Joseph.
Okay.
Remember? Joseph's
Yeah.
son. Okay.
Yeah.
One day, as Jeroboam was leaving Jerusalem, the prophet Ahijah from Shiloh met him along the way. Ahijah was wearing a new cloak.
Because I care what he's wearing.
The two of them were alone in a field, and Ahijah took hold of the new cloak he was wearing and tore it into 12 pieces.
Oh, and 12 pieces, just like they Yeah, they're the 12 tribes.
12 tribes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bet.
Then he said to Jeroboam, take 10 of these pieces, for this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I'm about to tear the kingdom from the hand of Solomon, and I will give 10 of the tribes to you. But I will leave him one tribe for the sake of my servant David and for the sake of Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. For Solomon has abandoned me and worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians.
Yeah.
Chemosh, the god of Moab, and Molech, the god of the Ammonites.
Mm-hmm.
He has not followed my ways and done what is pleasing in my sight.
Right.
He has not obeyed my decrees and regulations as David his father did. But I will not take the entire kingdom from Solomon at this time. For the sake of my servant David, the one whom I chose and who obeyed my commands and decrees, I will keep Solomon as leader for the rest of his life.
So they mentioned that they were giving 10 to this one dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 1 to Solomon. So where's the 12th one?
I don't know.
Just gets left off on its own, or
I have no idea.
okay.
Who knows? Who knows? But I will. This is still dude quoting God. But I will take the kingdom away from his son and give 10 of the tribes to you. His son will have one tribe, so that the descendants of David my servant will continue to reign, shining like a lamp in Jerusalem, the city I have chosen to be the place for my name. And I will place you on the throne of Israel, and you will rule over all that your heart desires.
You know, this sounds like they're just things happened. Mm-hmm. They're like, how do we explain this? How do we explain that
they got bad again real quick?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta make up an excuse. Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you listen to what I tell you and follow my ways and do whatever I consider to be right, and if you obey my decrees and commands as my servant David did, then I will always be with you. I will establish an enduring dynasty for you as I did for David, and I will give Israel to you. Because of Solomon's sin, I will punish the descendants of David, though not forever.
So I still have to say this. There's still one missing tribe, and they covered it twice. 10 for the one dude and 1 for Dave, or 1 for Solomon's son or whatever. There's a missing tribe. I gotta know, like, that's gotta be in the Q&A.
Well, I'm thinking sometimes Joseph's tribes are considered one.
Okay.
Like Ephraim and Manasseh.
Yeah, okay.
They're sometimes considered
that could be
the tribes of Joseph.
All right.
So
that could be.
That would be my guess.
But then why did, like, the symbology of, like,
the 12.
The symbolism of, like, 12, you know, why do they use that then?
It's whichever's more convenient.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Solomon tried to kill Jeroboam, but he fled to King Shishak of Egypt and stayed there until Solomon died.
Okay.
Which is coming up.
Oh. Okay.
The rest of the events in Solomon's reign, including all his deeds and his wisdom, are recorded in Solomon.
What?
Hold on. I'm so sorry.
What's going on here?
I'm trying to read this, and it looks like the sentence is not constructed properly.
Oh, okay. All right.
The rest of the events in Solomon's reign, including all his deeds and wisdom, are recorded in Solomon ruled in Jerusalem over all Israel for 40 years.
Yeah, that doesn't sound
right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a recorded
so there's gotta be
something
missing there.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about this translation that I'm reading here.
Right.
So the rest of the events in Solomon's reign, including all his deeds and wisdom, are recorded in something.
Something, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something's missing there.
Okay.
Solomon ruled in Jerusalem over all Israel for 40 years.
Right. Okay. It's always 40 fucking years.
Everything's 40. If it's not 12, it's 40.
Right.
When he died, he was buried in the city of David, named for his father. Then his son Rehoboam became the next king. The end.
Boy, this was just such a great story about Solomon. How he was like the most magnificent, wisest, most wonderful, God-loving person on the entire planet who built these wonderful temples. And then, he's shit, and he had 1,000 wives.
Yep.
What the fuck? Like, I don't even. I can't even, like.
It came out of nowhere.
That's such a shit story.
Yeah.
Like, the story is just complete trash.
Yeah. Like, it didn't show him becoming bad over time. He just, remember how he was great, but he also married 1,000 women. So.
Right, and there's, like, no lesson in it either. Like, you're just like, he's bad, and then he died. Yep. There it is.
That happened.
No actual direct punishment except for to his son. Sort of, kind of, maybe, sort of.
Right.
But... yeah, he was the most amazing person, and now he's not, and dead.
And now he's not and dead.
That's fucking it.
Yeah. Very poor.
I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
I am too, because I was enjoying making fun of David and David's son Solomon being like so perfect and whatever.
Right. Yeah. No, it was. I mean, I think they should have just stuck with it instead of just like this is like when they wrapped up. What was that show that we watched? The dragons and the red wedding and the
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Yeah. This is like when they wrapped up the Game of Thrones and it was just like, and we're quitting for another show. So here's the ending. Yeah. There you go.
Here's an ending real quick. Bye.
Right. Yeah. Somebody just was like, okay, let's wrap this shit up.
It was like the end of Lost, where they're like, just kidding, it was all a dream. Okay,
right?
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Very bad. Very bad. Painted themselves into a corner, they did.
They did, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so that was 1 Kings chapter 11. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow we'll be back with 1 Kings chapter
12.
All right, and we will see you guys then.
Yep, bye.
Bye. Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.